Numbers are moving.
The numbers are moving. All right, folks, thanks for joining us on a Veterans to Veterans Group video podcast. I forgot family through service part.
Yes, but it's all right.
It's okay. You know, it's different every time with me, so it's eventually I'll get to the right thing and then rotate through.
Yeah, right.
So, we're on our way now to... It's two things today, right, Chuck?
Yeah, oh yeah. So the first one is what town is that?
Hopkinton, yeah. Down next to Concord a little bit.
And, that's a little bit of a trip for us. But because of our second thing today where we're going to give a vocal...
That's like a presentation,
right?
Right?
Presentation to the Boulder Point Veterans Home. So it kind of worked out, I think, in everybody's best interest for us to be able to do both these things, knock them out. Especially as veteran, I mean, he's kind of going through some crazy shit with this whole wheelchair thing.
First we ordered the wheelchair, and there was some miscommunication, so I ordered the wrong size wheelchair. It was too big, too heavy, it wouldn't fit through his door, so they returned it, and there was a glitch in the return process. So that was something to deal with, okay? So we ordered him a new wheelchair from the company, and they sent him like a kiddie one or something. It's defective.
I mean, we haven't seen it, but yet by going off of the words of the veteran, that one of the small wheels broke off right off, and that the spokes might be plastic or just flimsy.
So we're returning that one from the same company, and then we have a donation that was given to us from...
is that the VFW?
I think Bob's Legion, American Legion, down in Lincoln.
So that's
which is like a brand new wheelchair. So we're like, fuck it. We're not ordering from this company anymore. It's going to take forever to get to this client's house.
Yeah.
We're headed down south anyway. Let's go a little bit further. It's actually significantly further. And we're just going to deliver you a wheelchair, and it's the right size and everything. We'll take care of it, and see where we go from there. So, but he has like an amputation at the hip, and he's an older veteran. He played football for the Army.
Yeah, that's what the Army collegiate team, right? And stuff. So he's not exactly a small guy, but not a huge guy either.
Yeah.
So,
but he's got a bunch of problems, and he's a Vietnam era veteran. So we're trying to do our best to take care of this gentleman and his caregiver. I mean, there's multiple things. You know how it goes, but we're just doing what we can, and that's what we do. And trying to get reimbursed for the clusterfuck of the wheelchair situation.
Well,
plural.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a extra drive, but since Friday we've had a very physical day every day with yard sale stuff. And
our first yard sale of the year was massive.
Oh my goodness!
Very successful, but massive.
And then we had cleanup from that. Then we had the demo to build our garage. So we had a demo of part of the interior of the garage to build our office. So it's been a very physical the last 4 or 5 days. So to take a leisurely drive, down to the southern part of the state, I think is much needed.
Yeah, it's a little mental break, physical break for sure, but mental break. But one of the things we wanted to discuss with y'all is what makes our charity, in our mind at least, and in the minds of some of the clients and other of our professional peers that we've spoken to, what makes us a little bit more unique, a little bit more different than other charities that are not necessarily our size, but who are more other direct aid charities. Is what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and I think we have two things that stand out. We have collaboration, which really stands out with other organizations
that we're willing to do it, right?
Yes, and not only that we're willing to, but we actively and almost aggressively pursue relationships with other organizations, which has allowed things to happen that we couldn't do on our own, or other organizations couldn't do on their own.
Yeah.
For example, there was that boiler that ended up costing almost $12,000.
Yeah.
And there was no way we could have done that. There's no way Easter Seals alone could have done it. Like, all these individual organizations wouldn't be able to. But we just kept plugging away and reaching out to everybody we can think of, and
bring everybody together.
And we made it happen. And you know, the gentleman there, unfortunately, we haven't been able to meet him because that distance is great as well.
Yeah.
But he's contacted us a few times to express his appreciation and stuff, which is great.
It's nice to hear.
Oh, absolutely.
It's nice to hear for sure. It wasn't an easy case, but it's not about being easy. It's about getting things done to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
So I think the collaborative, the willingness to be to collaborate with other organizations, and not seek the glory, as it were, or credit that a lot of organizations want. They may not admit it, but they seem to want that, or I want lead, glory, or I want lead, in the paper, or whatever the situation is. We don't fucking care. Don't even mention us. We don't care. And we've said that a bunch of times. So I agree with you. I think the collaborative effort that we head up, and by we, it's mostly you being the lead caseworker. We discuss it, and then you hammer at it, and we call.
Jen,
we really do. We really do hit at that hard. So it's for the clients.
No,
right?
yeah, exactly. And when people ask about us, whether it be professionally or people coming to seek our assistance, I always tell them that this isn't just some sort of a coincidence that we created this. I was like, all of our families that are involved with this organization have dealt with some really down and out times where we were assisted by an individual or an organization, and it continued to give us that inspiration to want to better others as well. So this isn't one of those pyramid make money scheme type things.
No.
Which goes right into the other thing for us. I think what helps us become successful with other clients as far as getting to the deepest, darkest of their skeletons and what needs to happen for them is that we're people. We own that we're individuals.
With our own skeletons.
Yeah, exactly. We're professional when we need to be professional, speaking to other organizations. But with a lot of our clients, when we're meeting them, we express that we have, injuries and side effects and things from our history and war and things, to let them know that they're not talking to some Joe Schmo who just got out of 12 years of school who's going to sit there and
look down at their nose. Oh, we'll help you, but only because we're better than you, or something like that.
Well, I can save you type thing.
Yeah,
that's not who we are.
That's not who we are at all. It's not about saving anybody. It's about helping somebody or their caregivers or their family because we were helped.
No, exactly. And we're at a point in our lives, well, we have been for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't continue working on it together. If you knew I was in a place I couldn't continue, you would politely ask me or
just
instruct me or whatever. Yeah, that, hey, you need to take some time. But we're both in a place where we have the time, we have the mental and physical energy to go ahead and help other people. And in a way, it helps us because then, sometimes we run across people who have it a whole lot worse than we do, and we're like, well, man, we're lucky we came out with just this thing. And,
you're right. Some of our clients are inspirational, like Sage, for example, is inspirational.
Lisa Horn,
Sorn First Class Horn, very inspirational. She's a rock star. So you're right about that, and I think that's another thing that makes us somewhat unique, at least in our eyes, is that we're just as broken in our own ways as many of our clients. We just happen to have a leg up in our personal situations because we've been helped and been able to maintain that.
And we just had
that leg up.
We just started with a client recently who he tried to do a lot of paperwork on his own and was able to get so much done. And when we actually know his brother personally, and when we met with the veteran, we started talking about some of our issues, he was far more open to talk, and that helped us present a stronger case to our favorite VSO, Crystal Eterno,
who's awesome,
who was so just overjoyed by the format that you created, that helps her push those cases
in her way.
Yeah. And it's just, again, go back to the collaboration, and and
it's all about
really
helping
great.
the clients get their ducks in a row, so that way when we push what we can't do on to the next level, we want to make sure, to the best of our ability, that the higher ups, the higher tiers organizations, that most of the work is done for them that we're able to do. And I mean, it just makes life easier for everybody. If we can do it, we might as well.
And we're always brainstorming things, the way that we should,
and asking what we can do to make it better. Because you're always asking, what can we do to make this more easy, more convenient for you? Like the Easter Seals paperwork, you go through the budget with these clients and present it to Easter Seals because you already know that they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And they're at the point where they don't even double check it because they know and trust that you're doing it. So you're saving them the effort.
And it's something that client won't have to do 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Because other organizations need a similar budget. There are cases that we need a budget depending on what their request is.
Not often, but sometimes.
Instead of this poor veteran who's just trying to get help have to do these and see this negative account every time they have to talk about it.
Yeah, or the reasons or whatever. So our level of our what would you call it? Our level of, not level of need, but our criteria for assistance is a lot lower than a lot of these bigger organizations. So it's nice that they can hit us at the lower level and then kind of tier up as they go.
And that we can provide that information. Like Friends of Veterans does a budget sheet as well.
Yeah.
And it's not the same one. Easter Seals is actually a little more in depth. So
they also provide provide a bigger service. Another thing I think, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No.
Another thing I think that makes us unique is the fact that we're 100% volunteer driven. We take no salary from it, and our services are free, and that we get our stuff from donations, so that way we don't actually push a service on our clients. Like so what I'm trying to say is, a lot of organizations, when you go to get aid through them, they'll offer aid with strings attached. Like, we'll help you do this if you go through our budget program,
all those.
We'll help you get this done if you sign up for our XYZ. You know what I mean by strings? It's whether they're financial strings or time commitment strings or whatever. We're just like, hey, we'll help you.
And we'll check in with you, and that's
And we don't give up. Very rarely do we just say we can't help and we don't know what to do. We try to, if we can't help, we try to find someone who can.
Oh, absolutely.
And not an organization, but someone in the organization.
A specific name and phone number. And in fact, I think the only time we've, in a way, given up, for lack of a better term, we cut ties, was because we had clients who were beyond rude and disrespectful. It became belligerent to us, and saying things that, keywords, things like us being evil as an organization.
And dishonest.
Now, those two things are just very personal for us.
It's hurtful. It's personal and hurtful, and I feel that they're incorrect.
No, absolutely. I mean, in 4 years...
Especially in light of the fact that we had already assisted these particular clients, before, and this is additional assistance that they want to help with, and they didn't get their way or in the way they wanted it, and then all of a sudden we're this, that, and the other thing. It's like, hold on a minute, guys and gals.
Well, I mean, with us being in business, so to speak, for about 4 years, and we're up to like 82 actual written cases with official assistance requests, and we only had 3 people that we were like completely cut off because of things like that. And I think that's a pretty good ratio.
I think so too. But we have also served over 100 if you count the non-official people
Yes.
that we didn't actually make a file on. Where it's smaller assistants that we didn't feel like making a file, like
an emergency food.
Yeah,
or
we'll make a phone
fund.
call for you, or we'll cut you an emergency thing.
The holiday times, we don't do any paperwork on.
Not necessarily.
Most of them, as long as they can provide paperwork saying that they are a veteran service member or first responder, we will help with Thanksgiving food basket and Christmas food and toy baskets and stuff.
So that's 3 things that we feel that make us a little bit more unique. Is there anything else that you think that makes us a little bit different?
Actually, I think yes. There's one thing internally. Well, it's 2 things. One thing internally that we do, we're still doing, is we're constantly adjusting our policies. Like even like up until this last board meeting we had, we are changing to better us. But in order for that to happen, it has to be a unanimous decision,
Sure.
which means that everybody has to agree on it, which is interesting coming from such a diverse group of people, which makes each policy that much more, it holds more weight that way. It appeals to everybody that is involved.
Well, nobody feels overly that they've been driven over, at least at this point.
Yeah.
Not to the point where they have voted against a policy change or whatever. So far. And if they don't like a policy change, we modify it until everybody is agreeable to it.
We have spent multiple weeks having conversations before we got to the correct verb. In fact, we have 2 very big policy changes we need to sit down and figure out the verbiage to that we kind of discussed and agreed on, but we got to figure out the right way to say it. The other thing I think that we do, and we do it on multiple levels internally that helps us strive to be better, is the way that we praise each other. We all know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and Jen has a tendency to beat herself up when she feels a little lost in what she's trying to express. And I told her many times how amazing she is and how she needs to forgive herself. We have Rebecca, who has spent I don't even know how many hours working with Mountain Sage and doing this
very meticulous
like crazy
work.
things.
Her and her husband like counting out individual pills to put in the containers.
And she's got a lot of self confidence issues, especially being with other people and stuff. And
Jen and Amy going over the maps. And this is a guy's life. Like literally, his life's on the line.
Yeah, and we're just. I praise them in our social media. I praise them in person. Here on a video, Rebecca has just done great, amazing things. I'm not sure if Bob has any flaws, but that guy, he continues to do wonderful things. His job with us is always changing, and he accepts it with a smile. And it's amazing to have these type of people with us, and then you and I more privately are praising each other and trying to figure out where we're going to continue to be best fit, as executives,
and move the organization forward, and that's our job anyway.
So it's not really an employee of the month, but it's very personal and genuine words of appreciation and
our volunteers, for that matter. We always thank our volunteers.
Which, we can't even name them right now. We had so many people show up.
Did you see that picture on Facebook I took of the volunteers? It looked like a crowd of shoppers, but they were all volunteers.
It was so many people. It was what a great opportunity it was.
Fantastic
to intermingle with them, because normally you and I are dealing with business aspect of things. So it was Jen ran that yard sale. She was a supervisor on it, and man, she killed it. She really did.
It was very successful, and now 3 days after the yard sale, 4 days, it looks like nothing happened there.
That's true, right? My front lawn is empty of all trash, and
it's pristine again.
The garage is, well, it's not empty because our office stuff is
shuffled over
to the storage, so that one of our volunteers, Tim and Bob, who is a board member, are actually putting up walls to create controlled temperature office for us, so we can,
as we speak,
not lose paperwork and things all the time.
And maybe,
confusion.
just maybe, we can actually work in the wintertime without slogging through the slush and ice and snow to each other's house.
Yeah, and losing stuff. Like, you got stuff at your house, I got stuff at my house.
Half the
There's
stuff
at the, yeah, it's just unbelievable. So, these are just some of the things that we try and do, and we set off, Mike, Americans like people who are willing to admit to their mistakes and their screw-ups, and I use the example of Bill Clinton, okay, you're the president, you're a powerful person, like, whatever happened with you and thing happened, like, own that shit. Be like, listen, I slipped up and I put it in there, like, I'm sorry, instead of trying to lie and then lying on the courts, and that honesty would have changed far more people to back him in a lot of other ways.
It would have changed the narrative.
Oh, absolutely,
Well, he wouldn't have been impeached and perjured himself, for one.
But yeah.
And for two, it would have changed that, look, people
that
make mistakes.
Are in the middle, someone like me may have been more likely to follow whatever he wanted to do as a political career.
Yeah.
By a simple act like that. And we try and be that way. When we screw up, like I screwed up on that guy's email that we were just dealing with. I forgot the numbers.
Just say, I fucked up. Sorry. We'll do better next time. Like, okay, mistakes happen. Like, okay, we move forward from it. Because you know what? Who doesn't make mistakes, right?
And if you own it, a lot of people are going to have more respect for you. Plus, they're going to open up to you. It's going to be an easier relationship to have.
Yeah. And I think that's what encapsulates the whole thing for Veterans, the Veterans Group, is that we're people and we try to do what we say and say what we mean. When we say we'll call a client back, we do. When we try to, or get in touch with them. When we say we'll do something, we do it. And we've actually been told, hey, you're the first, people to get back to me about this. You're we've contacted other organizations and they've never called us back, and you guys do. Whether it's with good news or bad news.
People just want to know, knowing takes away a lot of the anxiety and the stress, especially, and we personally know all about that anxiety that happens when you're waiting on somebody else.
Yeah, and that sucks.
And then we become the bad guy because we become irritated, and then we're calling them so many times that they avoid our phone calls, and then it just makes us more angry. So it's it's just easier to be like, listen, we did this, and this. We're waiting on that.
We'll get in touch with you because we honestly will.
Yeah, but I think just be yourself. Be an individual. Don't let the schooling and clinicalness of what is entailed with doing what we do control things. Like, it's okay to have flaws, and it's okay to let some of those flaws be known to the people you're working with.
Because it keeps you real, man.
Yes, it does.
It just lets them know that we're real people too, and we don't view our clients as case numbers in the strictest sense. Like, yeah, you're just another person with another problem. No, we take it seriously. We take their problem seriously, and we genuinely want to help in whatever way we can.
Oh, absolutely. And
if anybody has anybody that they feel needs help, or if anybody out there does need help, just get in touch with us and we'll see what we can do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, folks.